doesn't like having a little extra shmoney in their pockets?
That's right.
Even kids want $1 or $2, but knowing how to get it, keep it, manage it, that's the tough part.
That is the tough part. There's no doubt that there's a lot of responsibility that comes with having money, and talking about it can be uncomfortable for anyone, especially if you have to be honest about your own mistakes with it. Shamina Taylor is helping to break the ice with parents and kids as they navigate the unknown moolah. Welcome. Thanks for being here.
Thank you for having me.
Okay, first of all, I feel like we have about 10,000 parents out there that are like, oh my goodness, I need to know how to have this conversation. Specifically this one. He has 2 sassy lassies, and they are great, and they're going to do great things. So that's why I know people like him want to just dive right into it. Okay, so why is it so important to talk to your kids about money?
Well, the first thing that I always address is that I think parents keep money away and they make it taboo. Now, I think if you actually speak to your kids about when money is happening in your life, like if you have a bonus at work or you've saved up for a big event or a vacation, you should share with your kids why it was worthy of saving up and celebrating the money. For me, every time I have a big month or have a big year, we go out and we eat. So my kids know, hey, mom made this money, and then we need to celebrate it. The more that they get familiar with it, the more they get comfortable with it. And a lot of the times we just keep them away from the budgeting, and we keep them away from what we're doing.
I love that. I want to go eat every time something happens.
I know, right?
Yes.
We do similar things, and it can be, for us, it's money or just happy moments, but celebrating those types of things. So I like that idea. How do you navigate that conversation, though, with kids? Because then that curiosity starts to play in of like, okay, so like, how much money and what do we use this money for and that sort of thing. So how do you navigate that road?
Well, the second thing I would do is, I mean, money, like I said, was taboo. One of the things I would talk about with your children is if you've had money failures, like if you've had things that have gone wrong in your life, a lot of the times we keep kids sheltered. We don't want to tell them the things. But I think the more that we explain to them, like this might have happened in our past, this is what we did, but this is how we did to correct it, I think we keep them from having financial failures. You know, one of the things that my mom always said is money doesn't grow on trees. And I'm like, that kept, money growing for me. So if you can think about how you're speaking to your children about the money, be honest with them, it changes the whole scope of how they look and think about money.
I love that you say this because I think that there's some cultural components to this.
Absolutely.
Because, I mean, my husband and I, we actually have a family money meeting every week. Like, we talk about money very openly. But we didn't necessarily come from households that always did that. So, talking about some of the things about communicating about money, how are some of maybe the ways that we can just start those conversations, especially with our young kids and our more seasoned kids?
Well, yeah, the monthly meetings with your kids are absolutely important. Talking about budgeting, here's where the money goes. But one of my things is just building the relationship with it. So making money into a hobby. So we talk about spending, we talk about saving, we talk about what we're going to do with our money. And one of the favorite things that I do with my children too is that if your child has an act for making crafts, or they make cookies, or they're doing certain pictures, have them go to local mom and pop stores and see if the local mom and pop stores will sell it for them. And then once they're going to become, little business people, and also they'll see what it feels like to make their own money, and they start having a more of appreciation for money and a different relationship with it. And now you feel more comfortable all around.
Giving their money purpose.
Exactly.
I like that.
How do we do that? Because I think it can be intimidating for parents who maybe, let's say we haven't been great with our money. And now all of a sudden it's like, well, I don't want to pass that on to my kids. How do we kind of veer that off so that we can still teach them and learn ourselves kind of at that same time?
I think it's being honest. Yeah. I think money has so much shame around it, and we don't want to talk about it, but the more honest we are and the more we have open communication, and ask them what they want to do with their money. Why do you want to save up? Every time my child wants to purchase something, I'm like, well, what chores do you want to do around the house so you can collect that money so they have this ownership and pride in what they're making? And the more that they don't have this tabooness around the money, it actually neutralizes it. Instead of us having power over us, we have power over money.
I love how you are teaching kids, and you're encouraging us to teach our kids to be able to express themselves and their feelings and their goals around money. Because, when they get to be adults, now you have to negotiate for yourself.
Absolutely.
And now you have to do all of these things. Let me ask you, have you learned anything from your kids in this process of, allowing them to express themselves?
I would say kids are very motivated by money. They are motivated. If you put a chore or something in front of them and you tell them, my daughter will negotiate. She'll say $5 for folding laundry. She'll do, and these are chores that they're supposed to do, but sometimes I'll let her negotiate. But if you let them put the price on their time when it comes for exchanging money, you'll start seeing them value money in a different way, and also their own like self-worth and their self-esteem when it comes around money. And that to me is like the ticket.
I'm going to love how that's going to translate once they get older.
Absolutely.
That they will actually know how to, how much their time is worth.
Absolutely.
That's a good gift.